Hey, hello everybody. I wanted to do a quick video on spending a couple days with Tracie in Texas. It was amazing. Love Tracie. Y'all would love her too, but she's a little shy. So, it's interesting though that we're very similar in age and our lives have been so different. And so the two of us to be brought together at this time of our lives it's very interesting. It's fun to talk to her, and for all of you guys who have been with me for a long time, or my opinion of a long time in the months that I've started this, I'll let you know she's a long-term human. Now, also want to talk about that for a minute. Now, the term long-term human, I totally made that up while I was doing my videos, just to be able to differentiate between a starseed and a long-term human. Okay, so I made that up. If anyone else on the internet is using the term long-term human, I am not saying that what I'm saying is the same as what they're saying, because I absolutely made that term up. Now, I'm going to come up with another name that I'm going to make up, and I'm going to call this a long-term dualist. And the reason why I'm going to differentiate between those two is because there are beings on this planet that have been long-term humans, have been here since the beginning, or a lot portion of the human creationary process. Now, in truth, all humans are star-seeded, okay? All humans are. But there are beings that have been here through the majority of that process of the transformations that went about creating humans to their present state. And the reason why that was done was to get in the lower vibrations of 3D, lower, lower, lower. Okay? In order to get that done, most of that was done through other entities, other civilizations in the fourth dimension. They're the ones that implemented a lot of these changes. Now, there are some that are very protective of the humans. They consider themselves to be more involved in this process. I would not see it that way, but then I can see all of the processes that took the beings that are called humans from what they began as and what they are now. And it was many, 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 many beings that helped do that, most of which played out from the from a fourth dimensional place, which would make all humans star-seeded. But when I talk about star seeds, I'm talking about beings that came in specifically to help the beings and the planet Earth, Gaia, in the 5D process. And these are beings that have been on the planet less than 10 lifetimes, most of them less than 5, and a good portion of them have never been here before. Okay? So the reason why I bring all this up, now we're going to talk about a long-term dualist. Now, these are beings that are like my ex number 2, Stephen. I've told you he's a long-term human, but he's also a long-term dualist. And when the dude created this game, came up with the idea of splitting everything in half, of the dualism game, what happens is if anybody when anybody starts a game, what happens is they start the game, they get the idea, they begin the game, and then because we are all connected, is there's kind of a announcement made to the all that is, to everyone that's in it. And the entity will go, okay, I got this idea for this game, I'm starting it up, does anybody want to come play? And then entities will go, yeah, that sounds interesting. They'll come over and they'll help and start giving ideas. Now, ultimately, whoever starts the game has final call on changes that are made or additions that are made or tweaking that's done. Always, whoever starts the game, and it's not a matter of this is the rule, it's a matter of that it's polite, that it's their game, it was their idea, so ultimately, if you come into the game and you have an idea of what to do with it or something to do new or different, the one that started it, they have the ultimate say in whether or not they're going to do it or not, or if you can do it or not. And you would never you would never do it anyway if the creator of the game said, no, I'd rather, that's not really what I had in mind whenever I did this game. Okay? So at the very beginning, there were entities that were very, very intrigued by this dualistic concept. It was a really kind of radical thought when this was created. These are what I call long-term dualists, and they've not only been here, they're all long-term humans, all of them are now long-term humans, but they've also been here since very, very early phases of the dualistic game itself. Now, entities that got involved at that rate, and they really, really got into it, they had ideas on how to tweak this game in this way or that. And the creator of the game said, no, that's really not what I had in mind. So entities that have really gotten into it, they've got ideas where they'll take this dualistic game, and when they're done, they'll go start their own game. And it could be based on the dualistic concept, or maybe just something that's very close to it or similar, but they have their own ideas. X number 2 and Tracie are two of these beings. X number 2 is what we would consider, in the role that he's playing as a human right now, is kind of a bad guy. Okay? Tracie, on the other hand, is in this final phase, she is a good guy. So she's a long-term human. She's a long-term dualist. Both of them are planning, as soon as they're done here, to go start their own game with their own kind of twist in it. They'll have their own, all of this, they'll start a new one. Both of them will. Tracie is pretty aware of who she is. She's still in amnesia, but not a whole lot, not like a lot of people. So it's really, really fun to talk to her. It is very much, this is my experience, what's yours? She shares hers, and that's exciting, and then I share mine. And yeah, our lives couldn't be any more different, really, from start to finish. So it really makes for a fascinating conversation. It's not very good for leading to videos for you guys, but as far as me, she's a very exciting, fun, new friend. I'm very, very happy to meet her. She's only been watching my videos for a couple weeks, so she's really, really new in this. Otherwise, I'm sure I would have run up and seen her a lot more often. And I didn't think after I left Texas that I would be returning, but I definitely will, just to visit her. And I'm pretty sure that she'll be hanging out with me. I think she wants to do some traveling as well, so I think she'll be a really good travel companion if she wants to do so, and I think she probably will. So I think we could easily plan some trips together, and it will be fun because we come from such different perspectives, which is always great. I love different perspectives. That's what makes it so much more fun, right? So that visit has gone exceptionally well, and she has worlds of fun. It's been a great long trip, and it's good to know that she's so close by. Her place is beautiful. She's got about 10 acres and animals and a horse and a nice house, and it's a very, very calm, safe place. I can see why she loves it so much. And it was very enjoyable. I'm very, very happy to have met her. So I wanted to tell you guys how that trip went, and to tell her thank you very much for her hosting me there. And I look forward to going back and hanging out with her again, no matter where it is, whether it's her house or somewhere else. Okay? Anyway, that also introduced you guys to the term long-term dualist, and a little bit of explanation as to what that is. So, again, for me, it's really, really nice to hang out with somebody that's a long-term human, that is pretty, and she totally is in that place of, it's wonderful here. She does love it here, as most long-term humans do, and she's a long-term dualist, so that's even more so. And I don't know whether or not I did this analogy before, but I'll do it again just in case, because, of course, like most long-term humans, she just does not understand why a starseed struggles so much and has so much difficulty. So I did use an analogy, and I wanted to make sure I passed that on. And I want you to remember back when you were learning to drive a car. And when you first are learning to drive a car, it's not fun because you're worried about looking all around and which, how to steer and which pedal to push on and how much to push on it. And there's a lot to think about whenever you're driving a car when you're first learning. And it's not easy. It takes up all of your energy and your time, and it's very stressful. Okay? Well, think just learning to drive a car is a starseed. Okay? But 5 years later, when you've been driving a car for 5 years, you don't even think about all that stuff. You correct and do everything automatically. You don't even think about it. Well, long-term human or a long-term dualist, they're like the person that's been driving the car for 5 years. So the struggle that the new driver has, they don't even remember that anymore. They don't even think about it. They correct those difficult things almost on a subconscious automatic level. And that's how a long-term human does it. So they've corrected and gone around the difficulties with so much ease and with so much practice that it's no longer a struggle for them anymore. So that's the reason why they're good to hang around with. Is number one, it's always good to ride in a car with an expert driver, right? And that's basically what I do whenever I'm around a long-term human, if I can get them to relax and accept me for who I am. So remember that analogy. Starseeds and long-term humans and starseeds. So remember that, starseeds, you're just learning to drive the car. And you're probably not going to stick around long enough to become that really good driver. So just accept it for what it is. And like I said, if you get really tired, see if you can find a long-term human and let them drive for a while. You just sit in the passenger seat. Okay? All right, guys. Again, Tracie, I love you so much, and it was world's fun, and I will definitely be back. And it's a good start for my next trip. Very, very happy that it went well, and the little pink car did work like a dream. Not a darn thing wrong with her, and it looks like I'm going to be able to, if I drive about 55 miles per hour, I think I can get about 5 hours out of a tank of gas. And a tank of gas, I think I've probably got about 12 gallons in a tank of gas. So my fuel efficiency should be stupendous. So when I go to traveling after that, it's going to be hard to let go of the little pink car in my traveling. So I may have to consider, well, you think I can tent it and just stay in the little pink car, get better gas mileage, or should I go ahead with my bus/van thing? I don't know. I'll have to consider. For now, I'll just stay in the little pink car because, well, it's fun, right? And it's fuel efficient. Okay, guys, that's it for this one. I love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you later. Huge hugs.